World Soul Saga is all about returning back to the old world, Uldaz revamps, so obviously we already know the setting of all the 3 upcoming expansions. However, cleverly enough, Blizzard has been setting up multiple brand new zones we are yet to discover through the quests, the documents, the books, and all the zones I'm going to mention in this video have been confirmed to be in the game, and essentially it is only a matter of time before they actually appear. As you may remember, back in Legion we knew the setting of Legion, it was going to be in the Broken Isles, yet we got the entirety of the world of August. Something like this will be happening in the World Soul Saga as well. If you want to get Dragonflight or anything else Warcraft related, Gamigo has some excellent deals that you can check out with my link below. Best of all, you can get software, gift cards, a bunch of games at below market prices. On top of that, you can also use my code Doron to get yet another discount, so make sure to check out my link below and grab some amazing deals at Gamigo. While we already know the setting for pretty much the next 3 expansions, War Within will be on Khazlagar, Midnight on the Eastern Kingdoms, Last Titan in Northrend, there shouldn't be any new sort of like crazy new continents we're yet to discover, but keep in mind, when I say continents, I mean something the size of Pandaria or Northrend, like fully fledged continents. However, there will almost 100% be new undiscovered zones, as well as potentially a smaller continent, and this is 100% confirmed. I mean, we have the documents, the writing. It is only a matter of time before they actually show up in the game. As I stated, thinking back to Legion, how we knew the setting of the entire expansion, it was on the Broken Isles. This is where we spent most of the expansion at, but then we had a massive patch where we literally ventured to a whole new planet that by itself could have been an expansion's worth of content. Almost certainly, something like this will be happening in the World Soul Saga, and you can expect these to be additions to the currently planned and already announced settings. So let us start off with the 2 most likely zones and the confirmed zones that are hidden somewhere on Azeroth that are related to this entire World Soul Saga storyline. So the first one is Uldaz. You must have heard about this because it was actually added to an item in Dragonflight, but this location was actually first mentioned a couple expansions ago. The reason I say it is confirmed is because the item description says it can be used in all the Titan facilities, mentioning Uldaz and all the other Titan facilities we had actually seen throughout the Warcraft history. So we got Ulduar, Uldaman, Uldum, Uldis, Uldir. We had seen all of these zones in person, and all of these were various Titan facilities, some used for experimentation, some were headquarters, some were literally a world-exploding mechanism, but it was never clarified what Uldaz is and what it is used for. And keep in mind, the entire premise of this saga is the return of the Titans and us learning what the Titans are really about and uncovering a vast conspiracy. So I feel like Uldaz might be saved for this banger, like this big discovery. It's probably not going to be some Titan pet stable, but very likely something where once we discover it, we might be thinking like, damn, these guys were actually up to no good on Azeroth. Like, this is gonna be the Titan facility where there really are no 2 ways about it. The Titans are not the good guys. Now, where this is going to be, it is hard to say. By the name, it should be a Titan facility, not a whole zone. I mean, think about how Ulduar is a Titan facility in a zone called Storm Peaks. Most likely, we will uncover it in the War Within or the Last Titan, so either somewhere around Khazlagar or somewhere around Northrend. The other possibility is that it could be on Avaloren, which is yet another zone that will 100% be happening very soon as well in either of the 3 expansions. And you guys must have heard about this a million times by this point, so I really don't want to repeat the exact same thing over and over again. Avaloren was a really popular next expansion speculation. It was even a part of that really believable fake leak, and then, because the leak was fake, everyone thought Avaloren is fake as well, and this is just some made up name. However, this is a zone they had set up in Dragonflight that will manifest itself soon enough. Common misconception is that people think that Khazlagar equals Avaloren, but these 2 are completely different documents and completely different storylines. Keep in mind, I mean, both documents were discovered at the same time, and Khazlagar was just revealed, so you can expect Avaloren to be manifesting soon as well. What you do know about it is that it is almost certainly an island, because the document states the expedition, the Titan expedition, crashed on the waves. Titan Forge rebels have encamped here, and by this point most likely evolved an entire new civilization. Now, the reason I'm saying this is 100% happening is because the entire premise of the World Soul Saga is Titans are hiding something, and it is very likely these guys discovered this already in the ancient past, and they will be key in us learning what they are hiding as well. Other than this, we don't really know whether this is a tiny island, a huge new continent. We can only really speculate. However, we got 2 more super interesting hints as well. First is, in 10.2 we got documents of a green dragon that ventured to a new zone beyond the storming sea, even though Tyr, the Titan servant, didn't like this, and apparently this green dragon formed a brand new dragonflight there. This could potentially be a hidden part of Kazlagar we will discover in this expansion in a new patch, but it might very likely be Avaloren. Second is those light humans. I mean, when they split from the Arati Empire, they ventured beyond the sea, formed a new kingdom on some type of a land which is not on the continents we know of, as we explored all of them. And then from this group, these light fanatics came down all the way to Kazlagar. Seeing that we never saw this kingdom on any of the continents we know of, and we never saw Avaloren, this could be that same place. Now, it is incredibly hard to say when, but Avaloren could be discovered in any of the World Soul Saga expansions, but it will be the most relevant in the last Titan. Next down the line, we have something entirely different and will almost certainly be related to, wow, Midnight and the Void Invasion, and in my opinion, the most interesting zone we could find, and that is Karesh. If you're not familiar with the lore, Karesh is like a void version of Argus. Back in the day, it was the homeworld of the Ethereals. It was invaded directly by the Void Lords, pretty much what will be happening to us soon as well. They resisted for a while, but ultimately it was destroyed by a Void Lord personally, and the Ethereal forms were shattered as well. That is why they became Ethereals, and the planet was then overtaken by the Void. However, since then, and keep in mind this was countless thousands of years ago, the Ethereals had dedicated themselves to traveling the universe and learning how they can fight the Void. I mean, there is not a race more capable in battling the Void than the Ethereals. Why I'm talking about this and where the evidence comes in is the start of Dragonfight, where we had discovered a coin and we learned that apparently the Ethereals are following us closely for some reason, but it was never actually explained what was going on. Then in an interview, one of the lead devs said, just wait and see, this Ethereal setup is a long-term game and it is relevant. This was back around the start of Dragonfight, but then we got BlizzCon, we learned that the Void is actually invading in Midnight, and you can kind of connect 2 and 2 and realize that they might have known what is going to happen. The Ethereals are closely tracking the Void. They know something big is gonna come down to Azeroth, and they're 100% going to get involved. Now, how I see Karesh happening is either a raid or a patch zone. We know one of the Void Lords took over the planet. It is likely they might have turned this destroyed planet into their headquarters, similar to how Sergeras turned Argus into a Legion base. Like, when we actually deal with the invasion, we gotta go there and strike the final blow. Dragonfight had 2 major patches. We got 2 big brand new zones. In terms of Midnight, we already know that they're going to enlarge and update the upper eastern kingdoms, but what could be the patch content? Either some island with the Naga or a new zone like this, which would be Karesh. So this would be a super interesting and, in my opinion, the most interesting new zone we could get in the entire World Soul Saga. Next on the line, we of course have the enlargement of the known continents, and that is Northrend in particular. Recently we got the book War of the Scaleborn that gave us information on what Northrend looked like back in the ancient days when the dragons were around, and not only did Viranot have her lair somewhere around Storm Peaks known as Frozen Fangs, but most importantly, Iridikron, like one of the main villains of the entire saga, had a cave system called Harrow's Deep. Saying cave system is a super understatement. I mean, this was a gigantic, mega big villain base, like with lava pools, floating islands, tunnels that he can use to change direction, just like a crazy underground super villain zone beneath Northrend that we had never actually previously discovered. Now, we don't know whether this was actually destroyed, but if he is going to be relevant in the last Titan, he is going to definitely revive this system in Northrend. I can't say yet another underground zone is going to be the most interesting thing ever, but this is 100% confirmed. It was just added to the lore, giving updated zones in Northrend, and as you may know, in the last Titan, we are going to Northrend. Now, with all the heritage questlines that have been hitting us left and right, and everyone getting their cities back from the Worgen to the Night Elves and all this happening in definitely smaller patches, it is eventually going to be the time for the Goblins and the Gnomes to get their heritage questlines. Gnomes have been stuck in that Gnomerigan thing loop forever, and eventually it will have to get updated. However, with the Goblins, I think this is going to be the most interesting one. See, the Goblins had a gigantic city called Undermine that we never actually saw, and the current status of the city is unknown as well. Undermine, as far as we know, is under Kazan, and as you may know, there was a gigantic explosion there with Deathwing back in Cataclysm, but even the origin of that explosion have been mysterious, like Blizzard purposefully made it mysterious. It has been evident that the Goblins had been digging Azerite and he discovered something possibly related to the World Soul, so it is entirely possible that through the entire World Soul element of the saga and Kazan not being that far from Castlegar, we could be seeing the involvement of Undermine and the Goblins right now in the war within. Especially since Undermine is an underground city similar to Ironforge, and Blizzard has been all about the underground technologies lately, although I can't really say like yay yet another underground zone. You know, like it really feels like we're gonna be getting underground zones every time since Blizzard discovered this technology, but as we can learn from Castlegar, it can be done so that it doesn't actually feel underground, so that this isn't really just a simple cave. Plus, if you get the Isle of Kazan, Undermine could just be one portion of it. However, eventually something will have to happen with both the goblins and the gnomes. Thank you for watching. Check out how the light completely playtest by clicking on the screen, and check out my video on ancient Greek colonies in Spain by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.